Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. It is 10:45. We are at our install. The cool thing about this install is it's like 5 minutes from the shop. So we actually had the job done yesterday. So we just had to load it up this morning and come on out here. I normally don't come in till 9, and those of you that watch the channel regularly, you know that I got those baby kittens up front, so I had to take care of my babies and all that stuff. So we got a laminate tear out here, and then we'll be installing some quartz, and then we will have to template for the full height, which will come later. Then again, those of you that watch, you kind of know how I do my full height. We come out, do our initial perimeter job. That way, you know, if anything's off level or whatnot, it'll be perfect, you know. Early on when I opened the business, I try to do it all the same day. I would bring out the full height the same day I brought out the perimeter, install the perimeter, and then lo and behold, the cabinets were off. I would have to shim up one side 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Then my full height was off 1/4 to 1/2 inch. So there I am out in the yard or on the driveway fabricating full height. So, you know, full height's just like a perimeter install. So not only are you doing 2 installs in one day, hell, you're fabricating one of them. So it's always better, in my opinion, to do full height on another trip. We usually do it a week from install. So just like always, I will film periodically through the install. If we run into any issues, I'll show you what they are and how we work through them. And then I'll show you the finished product. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments. And if you're respectful about it, I'll answer it. If not, I'll tell you to eat a pterodactyl. All right, guys, I got something for y'all to comment on in the video. The customers just asked me a question. So they asked where I would stop the full height at. I told them, you know, you kind of got 2 options. You can stop it here at the cabinet, or you can, I mean, you can bring it out square there, but I don't like it brought out square there because of the thickness. But like I told them, it's their home. It don't matter what I like. Or you can go with an angle here, or, you know, you could go with like a fancy curve or something there. So let me know what you guys think, what you guys have seen before, and what you guys think's best. You know, it's all going to depend on the home. I definitely wouldn't put something fancy in like a cabin, but this is a nicer house. So they could get away with the curves and the angles and things like that. Either or will work here. I'll show you the outside when I go outside, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. Hey guys, when you're doing a tear out, you always want to kind of look and determine what's going on. You'll have guys that don't know their butt from a hole in the ground will come in here with a chisel and a freaking pry bar and a hammer and just start tearing stuff apart, and they mess up customers' cabinets and all that. But you come in here, you see what's going on, you see how the tops are attached, and then you start moving forward. Most times, I'd say at least 80%, you have to knock this front lip off here. Once you knock that front lip off, then it provides you access to the back side. And then you can get under it and see what's going on. You can look underneath and see if you see screws and whatnot, but a lot of times it'll be nailed or screwed down underneath this laminate here. So once you pull that front off, then you can get something under here to kind of pry up a little bit. And then you can kind of peek in there and see if you see a nail or a screw or whatever. And then if it's a nail, you can put a little more force and start prying it up. If it's a screw, then you know you got to pull the laminate off so that you can get to the screws. I know sometimes when I'm showing the guys how to do something or telling them, I come off as kind of a butthole. And I'm not trying to be. But what most of you on here won't understand, the people that own a business will understand. Once you mess a customer's property up, it's too late. So, you know, I just try to tell them the best ways to do anything to minimize customer property damage. And if you look at our stats as to how many times we've messed up customer stuff, it's not a lot. So by being cautious and, you know, trying to find the best way, you know, it helps us a lot. So it is what it is. I had a screw head sticking up here, probably an 1/8 inch, which 100% would have caused the stone to be off level. So rather than take a bit and try to screw it down further, all that's going to do is split your wood, and then the wood's going to rise when it splits anyway. So what I did, I took a 0 tolerance wheel because that's what was on the grinder, and I just grinded the top of the screw down so that it's flush. 100% done with the tear out. It is now 11:15. I think we've got all the nails and everything out, so went pretty good. No major issues. Alright guys, so we got our laser level. I got it on this side to start with. So the left side's a little higher than the right, but it's not too awful bad. Maybe an 1/8 inch or so. It does look like the back maybe just a slight bit lower than the front, but nothing too crazy. Over here it's about the same. All in all, you know, it's not really gonna be too big of a problem. You know, standard shimmer too, nothing crazy. You know, I've put that laser on there sometime when we're freaking 3/4 to an inch out of level, so we don't have that here, so that's a blessing. So I always like to use my 6-foot level as well, you know, to kind of see what we got going on, and it'll show different things than the laser does. Like right here, you can see that this part of the cabinet dips down. So we're touching to the left, we're touching to the right, but we got space in here which shows that this cabinet here is dipping. So we got the same issue here. We got some dippage going on here by the dishwasher. Touching on the left and the right, and then you can see right along the edge of the dishwasher on each side, the cabinet's not touching. So, but like I said, not the end of the world, not a major issue. Alright, over here, as you can see, we're floating there. We're kind of floating over here. So what that does is, if you push down on this here, you see that? So then you end up with that. It's a little bit worse in the back here. You can see how it's we're floating probably 3/16 of an inch there. So the same thing, you push down on this, you know, so that touches, and then over here, you know, you end up with that. All right, the guys have started bringing stone in, so bear with me just for 1 second, guys. I just want to finish checking everything. You know, all in all, we don't have any huge issues. I think we'll be able to make everything work. All right, so I knew when I looked at the template that this was different. It had a raised bar and a knee wall and all that. You can see from the knee wall written on there. And Melissa had a 5 1/8 inch riser and all that. Melissa's very good at what she does, so she modified it to be a flat piece. You know, ideally everything's supposed to be done at template. Also, there was a bread garage over here, and now there's not a bread garage. The customers were just asking me, you know, about all that. So, all right, guys, all the tops are in. It's 12:05. Everything's looking good. Everything has went well thus far, so no major complaints from me. I think it looks really good. The customer seems to be happy. I think I'm gonna do a short on this seam. Man, I spent so much time before I cut getting this seam to line up perfect. And then Tony, when he cut, he took his tape measure and double checked everything. So if everybody does their part and takes their time, you can make the seams look good and line up like this. But you can also not do what you're supposed to do and make them look like dog's ass.